Good morning everyone. Okay, already in the previous class we have started excretion. Okay, up to the structure of nephron malphizian body we have completed. Okay, now let us know about the renal tubule. Okay, next one is renal tubule. So, in the renal tubule, it consists of three parts. Okay, PCT, DCT, and loop of Henle. Okay, PCT, DCT, and loop of Henle. So, PCT, DCT is known as proximal convoluted tubule and DCT distal convoluted tubule. Okay. So it is also known as first or proximal, and it is known as second or distal convoluted tubule. Okay. So DCT opens into a collecting tube. Here he is saying that this DCT opens into the collecting tube. Okay. And collecting tube forms pyramids and calces which open into the pelvis. So, this connecting tubule forms pyramids. Okay, forms pyramids, and that opens into this pyramids opens into the pelvis. Okay. Into the pelvis lead into the ureter. So next this pelvis comes into the ureter. Okay, from the ureter, all the parts of the renal tubule are covered by a network of peritubular capillaries formed from efferent arteriole. So the entire renal tubule are covered by a network of peritubular capillaries formed from efferent arteriole. Okay. The peritubular capillaries join to form renal venule, which joins the other venules to form finally the renal vein. So here these peritubular capillaries join to form a renal venule. Okay, they use it to join to form renal venule. So this renal venule connects with the venules of the body, and finally they form a renal vein. Okay. Finally they forms into the renal vein. Why the nephron is considered to be the structural and functional unit of the kidney? Because this nephron used to separate the nitrogenous gases present in our body. Okay, next mechanism of urine formation. Next, mechanism of urine formation. First one, glomerular filtration. So mechanism of urine formation. Okay, it involves 4 steps. First one is glomerular filtration. Next one, tubular reabsorption, and third one, tubular secretion. And final one was formation of hypertonic urine. Okay, here in the glomerular filtration, so the blood flows through the glomerulus, and here what happens is this glomerulus, under the influence of pressure due to the narrowness of the efferent arteriola, it sends, as a result it undergoes pressure and it filters the blood from the waste products. Okay, that means it removes waste products from the body, and right from here waste molecules, nutrient molecules and water are filtered out and enter the Bowman's capsule. So after that removing of the waste products and the nutrients from the blood, it enters into the Bowman's capsule. Okay, next one was tubular reabsorption. Okay, next one is tubular reabsorption. That means the peritubular capillaries around PCT reabsorb the components of primary urine. That means the filtered urine. Okay, it removes it reabsorbs the components from the primary urine like glucose, amino acids, vitamins, potassium, calcium and sodium chlorides and 75% of water. Okay, in the tubular reabsorption, the primary urine, it reabsorbs the materials present on that primary urine such as glucose, calcium, phosphorus and water. Okay, next one was tubular secretion. So in tubular secretion, it is the active secretion of waste products by blood capillaries into the urinary tubule. It ensures removal of all the waste products from blood, that is urea, uric acid and creatinine, salt ions like potassium, sodium and hydrogen. Okay, this maintains proper concentration and pH of urine. So this tubular secretion will remove ions present on the urine, and not only the ions but also it removes urea, uric acid and nitrogenous bases as well as creatinine too. Okay, and it gives a proper pH to the urine. Okay, next one, formation of hypertonic urine. 75% of water content of nephric filtrate is reabsorbed in the region of PCT. 10% of water passes out of filtrate through osmosis in the area of loop of Henle. Further concentration of urine takes place in the area of collecting tubes in the presence of hormone called vasopressin. The hormone is secreted only when concentrated urine is to be passed out. This is why it is not secreted when a person drinks a lot of water. Absence of vasopressin hormone produces dilute urine. Hormone action maintains osmotic concentration of blood fluids. Deficiency of vasopressin causes excessive repeated dilute urination called diabetes insipidus. So here 75% of water content of nephric filtrate is reabsorbed in this region of PCT. Okay, so in the PCT region 75% of urine is filtered in the nephric filter and it is reabsorbed in the PCT. Okay, 10% of water passes out of filtrate through osmosis in the area of loop of Henle. Okay, further concentration of urine takes place in the area of collecting tube in the presence of hormone called vasopressin. So concentrated urine contain vasopressin hormone, diluted urine does not contain vasopressin. That means if we drink a lot of water, we will go to the urine for more times. That means here we get diluted urine. So on the diluted urine, this vasopressin hormone is absent, and this vasopressin hormone is absent in the diabetes, and because of the absence of the vasopressin, it causes diabetes insipidus. Okay. Why more urine is produced in winter? What happens if reabsorption of water does not take place in our body? So because in winter we are not able to take more water, and we will go to the urine more times. Okay. And if reabsorption of water does not take place, what happens is our body is filled with water, and our hands and legs may swell due to the presence of the water in our body. Okay, next one, ureters. Next topic was ureters. There are a pair of whitish, narrow, distensible and muscular tubes of 30 cm length. Each ureter arises from hilus of the kidney. It moves downwards and obliquely opens into the urinary bladder. Ureter carries urine from the kidney to the urinary bladder. The movement of urine in the ureter is called peristalsis. Okay. So this ureters, okay, this ureters will open into the urinary bladder. Okay, this ureters function is to transfer urine from the kidneys to the urinary bladder, and the movement of urine in the ureter is peristalsis. Okay, so through the peristalsis movement from here, the urine passes through the ureter to the urinary bladder. Okay, next one was urinary bladder. It is a median, pear-shaped and distensible sac that occurs in the pelvic part of the abdomen. It stores urine brought by two ureters. The storage capacity of urinary bladder is 300 to 800 ml. So 3 to 800 ml of urine is stored in a urinary bladder. Okay, so it collects urine from the ureters. Okay, next one was urethra. It is a tube that takes urine from urinary bladder to outside. The opening of urinary bladder into urethra is guarded by a ring of muscles or sphincter. Urethra is 4 cm long in females and about 20 cm long in males called vestibule. Its opening is separate in females, but it is common with the reproductive tract in males. So here he is saying that this urethra, okay, the opening of urinary bladder into urethra is guarded by the ring of muscles or sphincter. Okay, in females, urethra is of 4 centimeters long, and in males it is of 20 centimeters long. Okay, its opening in females is separate, but in the males it is connected. It is common with the reproductive tract. Okay, next one, micturition. So here the urine is temporarily stored in the bladder. There are 2 sets of circular sphincter muscles in the bladder. When the bladder is filling up, both these sets of muscles are constricted, so the exit is closed. However, as the pressure of the urine increases, the walls of the bladder are stretched and triggers of an automatic reflex action which cause the upper sphincter to relax, but the lower sphincter is under the control of brain. So here he is saying that this in the micturition, the urine is temporarily stored in the bladder. There are 2 sets of circular sphincter muscles in the bladder. One was filled with, when the bladder is filling up, both these sets of muscles are constricted. When the bladder is filled with urine, both these muscles get constricted, and the lower muscle is under the control of us, and the upper muscle is in the control of is controlled by ourselves, and the lower one was controlled by the brain. Okay. So urine can be retained until the muscle is relaxed too. Control of urination is not possible by very young children, but is gradually learned. So the young children cannot be able to retain, cannot be able to store the urine for a long time, but the young people learn to control over the urine. Okay, urge of micturition occurs when urinary bladder is filled with 300 to 400 ml of urine. The stretched bladder stimulates nerve endings to develop the reflex. However, urine can be retained in the urinary bladder till it gets filled up to the maximum capacity of 700 to 800 ml. At this time, the urge becomes painful and leads to voluntary micturition. Total amount of urine excreted per day is about 1.6 to 1.8 liters. Its quantity increases with large intakes of fluids like water, juices, and decreases with lesser intake. So what is happening here? After filling up to the 300 to 400 ml of urine onto the bladder, it starts. So we will feel uneasy. So we are we are getting ready to pass it out from the bladder. Okay, so what happens? So this bladder starts stretching when the more amount of urine is secreted into the bladder, and at this time we will feel some pain. Okay, and leads to voluntary micturition. After a period of time, we will pass out the urine. So per day we will excrete 1.6 to 1.0 liters of urine from the body, and later if we take more amount of water or fruit juices, so we will pass out more amount of water or more amount of urine from our body, and if we take less amount of water, we won't pass out at least one hour. So we will pass only 900 ml of water from our body. Okay, next one, composition of urine. Okay, so urine contains 96% of water. Okay, it is a transparent fluid produced by urinary system. Urine has amber color and due to the presence of urochrome. Composition of normal urine varies considerably depending on several factors. For instance, taking a protein-rich diet will result in the formation of urea in the urine. This is because the proteins get deaminated in the urine with subsequent formation of urea. Each sugar can appear in a normal person after a heavy intake if other conditions are constant. A large intake of liquids or water-rich food increases the volume of water in the blood, hence more urine is excreted. So here in the so if we take large amount of water in the body into the body, we will pass out more urine. Okay, if we take protein-rich diet, what will happen was the proteins get deaminated in the liver and subsequently it forms into the urea. Okay, urine contains 96% of water, 2.5% of organic substances such as urea, uric acid, creatinine, water-soluble vitamins, hormones and oxalates, etc. 1.5% of inorganic solids such as sodium, chloride, phosphate, sulfate, magnesium, calcium, iodine, etc. It is acidic. pH is of 6.0 in the beginning but becomes alkaline on standing due to the composition of urea to form ammonia. So what happening here? Our urine contains 96% of water, 2% of organic substances and 1.5% of inorganic substances. It's acidic. It is acidic in nature. Its pH is of 6.0 in the beginning but becomes alkaline and on standing due to the composition of urea to form ammonia. So what happens if both kidneys fail completely? So end-stage renal disease. It is nothing but complete or irreversible failure of kidneys. If the kidneys stop working completely, our body is filled with extra water and waste products. If our kidneys stop working completely, our body is filled with extra water and later on this condition is called as uremia. Our hands or feet may swell. You feel tired and weak because your body needs clean blood to function properly. So if our body has to be work properly, we need to pass excess amount of water that present in our body. Okay. So in the next class we will see about the artificial kidney.